Yo, Strong Opinion Sports has a store. Shirts, hoodies, everything. It's all on sale until the end of November. Go buy stuff. I do this occasionally. Every once in a while, I put out a topic with an idea that I'm still developing. And so what I'm about to say next are thoughts and ideas I'm still processing, trying to understand what they mean. But I think they're also valuable and worth putting out now. So I guess I'm curious to see how they develop as the year goes on. So maybe we'll call this part one of who knows how many down the road. But right now, I just have a bunch of questions about the New England Patriots head coach, Bill Belichick. All I have are questions. I'm not sure where they lead yet. But I guess the most unusual thing going on right now in New England is that Bill Belichick recently has just been losing a lot more than normal. The Patriots are 4-5. They're third in the AFC East. They're behind the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. I mean, Miami and Buffalo, these are teams that have not challenged New England in forever. It's been a long time. And, these two teams have their long-term quarterbacks. They have more talented rosters. They've got better defenses. When's the last time Buffalo or Miami had a better defense than New England? They do this year. It's very weird and odd. And then aside from losing and not being the best team in his division, Bill Belichick's also been doing another abnormal thing where he's been talking at press conferences, saying all kinds of things, weird stuff I've never heard him talk about before. Geopolitics. He's been talking, he kind of took a jab, I guess, at the Texans general manager by saying that they hired a guy, Bill said literally, who was not a personnel guy. And a general manager's job is to deal with personnel. So it was a weird thing. It's like, Bill, are you trying to call out Houston? What's going on there? And then Bill, and maybe that's because his friend Bill O'Brien got fired. I don't know. But Bill has also been complaining about the salary cap. He's been complimenting his quarterback, Cam Newton, which is another weird thing because the entire time he had Tom Brady, he never complimented Tom Brady. And I guess my question is, why are we seeing a different Bill Belichick? Maybe he changed his style to fit his current quarterback, Cam Newton. Is that certainly possible? Maybe Brady was more cold and focused, where Cam is more fun and open, and maybe Belichick's trying to be more fun and open to fit his quarterback. I don't see that happening, but maybe, I guess, that's a possible theory. But I've actually compared Bill Belichick for years now to another coach in college, a guy named Mike Leach. Both Mike Leach and Bill Belichick have always done the same thing in a very, very different way, where they never actually directly answer a question, never at all. The difference is ask Mike Leach literally anything, and he will talk about anything other than the question you asked him. He'll talk about weddings or pirates or movies or music or dragons or food. You will get all kinds of crazy, interesting quotes out of Mike Leach. Oh, except for the thing you probably asked him about relating to football. It feels like everything Mike Leach does is all misdirection. And the media, especially the college media in a small town usually like Pullman, Washington, where I was when I covered Mike Leach, they're just happy to get an interesting, weird quote they can put into their story. So they're happy. Mike Leach gave them what they wanted. He gave them a weird quote about weddings or whatever. And Mike Leach is happy because he didn't share any of his strategy relating to football. And so Bill Belichick, in a similar way, I guess not really in a similar way at all, but in a way, also never really answers a question about football. But again, the way they go about it's very different. Bill has always been way more direct, giving, short or even one answer answers where he'll be like, well, Bill, how do you feel about this? And Bill will go, maybe. Or he'll say, yes, no. Or, on to Cincinnati. He's very subtle, short, direct. It doesn't say much of anything. He's notorious for giving the media nothing. So what's going on? Why is Bill Belichick suddenly talking about geopolitics and the Texans general manager complimenting his quarterback, saying weird stuff, giving quotes? I'm like, what is Bill talking about? Why is he talking about this? What's happening here? Why is Bill changed? Why is he talking more? I don't really understand it. Is he trying to become more like Mike Leach? Is it the misdirection approach? I mean, I guess it makes sense when you're losing. It's a misdirection where the media is going to write about your odd quotes rather than the fact that you're losing. I don't know. I'm trying to understand Bill Belichick, and I honestly don't. I'm doing the best I can. Time will tell, I guess. I mean, a weird thought is that we've reached NFL Week 11 now, and I really cannot remember the last time this late in an NFL season I felt like the Patriots had simply no chance to win a Super Bowl. Can you remember a time where Week 11, even with Matt Castle, that one year where Tom Brady was out, I went, you know what? This team feels like they can make the playoffs and they'll be interesting. I have zero belief the Patriots have any shot to win the Super Bowl or do anything interesting this year, and that surprises me a ton. And so I don't really know what the Patriots are doing because they had two embarrassing losses to Denver, especially was awful. Then they lost to the 49ers, got blown out. They were losing. Now they've won two in a row. They beat the Jets barely, but then they beat the Ravens in a really interesting win because the Ravens are considered a very good football team. Now the Patriots are 4-5, and I go, I don't understand really what the thought process is. What's happening? What are they trying to do? The Patriots do not appear to be tanking because unless they were trying to, they're going to take a sudden left turn maybe, unless the Patriots just suddenly suck tomorrow, they're going to win too many games to get a really high-level quarterback like Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson. They're not going to have a top pick in the NFL draft. And I really don't understand. The Patriots quarterback situation is very weird to me. First of all, poor Cam Newton was kind of set up to fail where even Tom Brady, who I think is a better quarterback than Cam Newton, even Tom Brady couldn't do anything with this same offense last year. So the Patriots have no weapons. Cam Newton never really had a reasonable shot to be successful. I was very briefly convinced that maybe he was going to work because he looked really good against the Seahawks, but now we've learned since then, hey, Seattle's defense is not very good. And it's sad because Cam Newton, in my opinion, is still actually very capable of playing at a decent level in the NFL. And then I remember when New England even added Cam Newton, kind of feeling like it was a move to be more competitive, and it hasn't worked. And I guess in hindsight, it made sense to add Cam Newton where you said, my receivers aren't very good. If we get a quarterback who can run and design a power-running offense, maybe that'll work. I really don't know. I guess I'm kind of randomly spewing all kinds of Belichick giving quotes. The quarterback situation is confusing. The Patriots do not appear to be tanking. But I don't know. What is the long-term answer at quarterback for New England? I really don't know. It doesn't appear to be Cam. It doesn't appear to be Jarrett Stidham. They're too good for a top pick. Remember, the Jaguars, Washington, the Jets, the Cowboys, the Giants, they're all worse than New England. They all probably are going to be in the conversation for quarterbacks. They won't all get quarterbacks, but some of them are going to be talking about drafting a quarterback. They're all more likely to get a quarterback before New England. Maybe the Patriots trade up with the Chargers or Cincinnati. Maybe the Patriots sign Dak Prescott. But I'm not sure that Sam Darnold's going to get traded to New England because why would the Jets trade with a division rival? Dwayne Haskins is just bad. Maybe you bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. I guess I'm rambling here, but my point is I have no idea what the Patriots' long-term plan at quarterback is. It's unsettling and it's weird. Again, they've won too many games to be tanking. Bill has been weird. He's giving weird quotes. There's been weird moves in New England. And I wonder if Bill Belichick is just going through the motions, kind of waiting for next year. Here's a weird thought. Maybe he realized, hey, because of COVID, you cannot depend on anybody or anything like at all. And remember, the Patriots for years have always relied on attention to detail. They've been very, very driven by, we will do the little things better than you. How can you manage to do all the little things right and pay extreme attention to detail when you can't even practice because of COVID? The facility's shut down. Cam Newton had a positive test for COVID. He missed a game. So at any moment, randomly, your quarterback can get COVID and just be out for the very next game indefinitely. I mean, just imagine if the day before the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes got COVID and can't play. Bill Belichick might have looked at all this whole thing going on. Maybe Cam Newton getting COVID was the moment where Bill Belichick realized, I can't rely on anything. I can't trust anything. It's all maybe kind of blind luck with COVID. And maybe Bill Belichick realized all this and said, I'm going to go through the motions. Maybe he's just waiting for next year. I don't know. I'm asking questions here. I mean, you look at Bill Belichick, he doesn't need to win. There's no pressure on him. Every other coach in the NFL is fighting for their job or their legacy, or they have some reason why they need to be fighting hard. Bill Belichick has no reason. He's earned the right to have a bad year. Nobody's going to be mad at Bill Belichick if the year there's COVID and you lose Tom Brady and half your team opts out if you're bad. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to bat an eye. Nobody's going to hold that against Bill Belichick. In fact, people keep writing about how Bill Belichick's giving weird quotes rather than criticizing him. In fact, a lot of people are praising Bill Belichick for how good a job he's doing coaching. And Bill Belichick has supported his players opting out. That's probably, I mean, from a reasonable perspective, that's all you can do as a coach. If your players are like, hey, I'm nervous about COVID and I'm not going to play. As a coach, you can't be like, well, screw you. Like, if you want to work with that person ever again, all you can do is, you know what, I support you, do your thing. But Bill Belichick seemed oddly warm to the idea of his best players not playing at all this year. Does anybody think that's weird? I feel like I'm rambling about, I'm going here and there and I'm all over the map here. Again, these are all questions I have. I don't really know where this leads. But you can't beat COVID. Nobody can. Maybe Bill Belichick isn't trying to beat COVID. Maybe he realized, hey, the NFL cannot work without all 32 teams playing, so I have to play. I can't take a year off. But he knows he can't win a Super Bowl. His best players opted out. He's got no weapons on offense. Sometimes, and almost at random, your facility is shut down and you can't practice because of COVID, or you're missing players. Nothing is reliable. You do not have a long-term quarterback. I don't get it. I for the life of me, I'm rambling, I'm spewing. I cannot understand what is going on in New England. I wish I could call Bill Belichick and be like, dude, Bill, what's up? What are you doing? What's your plan? I don't know. Did the year not go how Bill Belichick expected? Why have they won too many games to be tanking? Are they fighting? I mean, they're fighting too hard to tank. They're not tanking. That's not what's happening. And then what's the long-term plan, both at quarterback and for your franchise? I don't know, Bill. I don't understand. I'm confused. I have no idea what to make of Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I can't figure out the plan. And I find them incredibly fascinating. I don't know what's going on. I've talked now for like 30 minutes, I feel like, about Bill Belichick and asking question after question. I don't know what's happening. And for the life of me, I'm so curious to see how the year plays out for the Patriots, what quarterback they have next year. Tom Brady left to the Buccaneers, and good for Tom Brady. I'm happy for Tom. But I got to say, I am way more interested in the Patriots because I cannot figure out what their plan is or what kind of future they have for them as a franchise. I just don't know. And I really cannot wait to watch and see what happens with the Patriots as time goes on down the road.